Welcome back. You are tuned in to Terry's Nation. My pleasure to have with us here today best-selling author Terry Savage, found at terrysavage.com. And here's the name of the book, The New Savage Number. How much money do you really need to retire? Terry, welcome to Terry's Nation. How are you today?
I'm glad to be with you.
Good, good, good. During a time, oh boy, and it's rough times, let's look to the future. Is it more important now than ever? What kind of street-smart advice does it take to make up these losses that we've seen in these retirement accounts? Where do we even start, Terry?
We start with economic growth. We start with America growing again, which involves a whole lot of different policies than we're putting in place now. But I think particularly for your audience, I mean, they're traders. You think short-term. I started out my career as a trader.
Right.
I was a founding member and the first woman trader on the Chicago Board Options Exchange. So that gives you an idea of the experience I've had. And
Sure.
Traders look short-term. That's okay. And I believe in that. I'm on the board of directors of CME Group.
Nice.
But retirement planning and planning for your future requires a whole different attitude, long-term optimism about the success of America, otherwise why bother, and a strategy that continues to go on in spite of the ups and downs of the daily market.
All right, so let's talk about this. We have an administration right now where we're spending, we're not stimulating. There's no growth in spending all kinds of money, and I don't know where it's even going. Is this going to stunt our recovery and back to being a growth type of country?
Well, of course it is, and the gold market is telling you that. I've been writing for years about gold and the dollar and the fact that the rest of the world cannot be expected to keep taking these pieces of paper while we print more and more of them.
Right.
So we're seeing the beginnings of it, only the beginnings, as gold is well over $1,000 an ounce now. In the beginnings of a decline in the belief in the dollar. And as we borrow more and print more, we're in deeper and deeper due to, as they say, because, no wonder the Chinese, who are well up towards $1 trillion of our IOUs, are going to turn around and say, hey, you're printing so much money, this is worthless. Pay us higher interest rates.
Sure.
And that will tank the economy.
Yeah, and not only that, when you're talking the kind of money we're talking about, higher interest rate is very, very expensive. In fact, we've been saying, really, let's not let them know what's after $1 trillion, okay? It's just that simple.
It's a quadrillion. I want to give you an answer.
Sure.
It's $1 quadrillion, and the reason I know it is because CME Group traded $1 quadrillion worth of notional value of contracts last year without one hitch.
Terry, listen. One of our station affiliates is in D.C. We got to keep that down. We can't let them know it's after $1 trillion because that'll be a target for them. They're like, wow, there's more than $1 trillion? Okay? All right, fair enough. So you write about the Savage number inside the New Savage Number book, okay? And so is it something that people can easily figure out? And if so, what's the equation? How can people start thinking about getting back on track for their retirement?
Okay, well, you have to have a few basic understandings. First of all, retirement. What does that mean?
Right.
Is it going to look like your grandparents' retirement, where they retired at 65, lived a few more years, and had a pension check a month for life?
Right.
First of all, you're only going to have your hunk of money roll over. Second of all, you're going to live longer. I'm going to send you all to one website today, tonight. Just grab a glass of wine after the market closes and go to Living to 100, Living TL, and then the number 100.com.
Okay.
You take the quiz. You just put in there how well you eat and how much you exercise and how old your parents are or were when they passed on, and a lot of other things.
Okay.
You click. When I did it, it came out to be 104. And I went, that's not good news.
Right.
So I redid it. I mean, I was more honest about my exercising and my fruits and vegetables.
Right. So
now we're living to our 90s.
Right. All right. So now when we get our number, we can go back and we refer to the New Savage number. We can find out how to best utilize that, right?
Yep. There's another website. Got time for this?
Sure do.
Okay, here's the best. Every financial services company has some kind of a calculator online. Here's the best one.
Okay.
Go to choosetosave.org, CHOOSETO, save, SAVE.org.
Okay.
That's the website of the Employee Benefit Research Institute. Click on ballpark estimate.
Yeah.
You fill in those blanks with what you've saved, what your rate of savings is, what your desired goal to replace, 100% of your current income, 80%.
Right.
And it will tell you how much more you need to be saving now.
Yeah.
Or how much lower your standard of living will be than you think it might be in retirement based on your current rate of savings.
Terry,
it just makes sense to pay attention to this.
Right, great information. I appreciate that. And we may need that glass of wine after we go to these sites.
That's when you need black coffee.
Okay, good. All right, so now, how critical is the process of planning withdrawals Because, you know, we get to an age where we want to retire, and at some point we have to plan that withdrawal process. That's going to get us to 104, to 108. All right, so how difficult, what do we need to do to plan for that type of retirement?
Oh, well, that's simple. That's the centerpiece of the book. It's very simple advice. You just take your money to Monte Carlo.
Okay.
You know, you're laughing.
I know,
you read the book. But the fact is, I'm not telling you to gamble. I'm telling you that there's very sophisticated computer programming offered by most of the major firms, you know, the T. Rowe Price and Fidelity and Vanguard and financial planners, that doesn't do averages, because, you know, real life is never average.
Yeah.
It does sophisticated modeling of all the history of the market to give you a withdrawal rate and an investment plan that will help you make your money last as long as you do.
Right. All right. So a lot of people, I want to touch on another subject here. A lot of people don't like talking about long-term care, but you know what? If something comes and happens, something catastrophic health-wise, that can wipe out our retirement. So we have to start thinking about that when, and if so, how do we plan for it?
Well, that's the most devastating thing, worse even than a bear market, because you can get through a bear market and get a rebound.
Right.
But you can't get through long-term care insurance. It drains your long-term care. It takes your money and throws it down the drain.
Sure.
There's a very big women's issue, because women are likely to be alone. If you're married, you're going to use it up on your husband, because women live longer.
Right.
You need, you know, you insure your house against fire, and you never complain that the house doesn't burn down.
Right.
So people should start thinking about insuring against these costs, which are now $80,000 a year. And by the way, don't think the government's going to put you in a Medicaid-funded nursing home. They just announced a huge reimbursement cutback to nursing homes.
Yeah.
By the time the boomers crowd in, those things, you know, when we went to school, there were modular classrooms.
Right. I know.
I bet by the time the boomers retire, they're going to be these modular nursing home rooms, or the old FEMA trailers are going to wind up housing, no kidding, people that are old and can't pay.
FEMA trailers with mold, by the way, which is not going to make anybody better. It's just as simple as
well,
that.
they'll live shorter then.
That's oh boy, Terry, that's a whole other topic, isn't it? All right, so let's go on to this. How do we protect ourselves then? Long-term care insurance? Is there insurance out there? What is there?
I've got a whole section of the New Savage number devoted to long-term care insurance. We don't like to think about it.
Right.
Medicare doesn't cover it. Supplements don't. You need to buy a policy when you're young and healthy.
Sure.
Or those of you who are younger are sitting there saying, "Oh, I don't have to worry about that," you know.
Right.
How about your parents? You're going to put mom in one of those nursing homes? Maybe you should be buying her that for Christmas. You and your brothers and sisters get together.
It's just
buy
one of
a
those
policy
things.
on your mom, so she's not in your guest room.
Yeah, you got to think about it. I mean, you're young. You got to get a will. At some point, we're all going to die. You got to think about getting a will. You got to think about all that stuff. At some point, it's just you got to fess up to it and do it, right?
I know you don't want to hear this, all of you, but what I'm trying to do is save you money so that the money you make trading, this great living you found at catching the ups and downs of the markets, believe me, bless you, I love you for doing it.
Yeah.
It really makes the markets in America. We need more of it.
Right.
But while you're busy making it every day, you got to plan ahead. Your own retirement, your own care. Don't wait till you're too old.
One key thing you said is you can't rely on government with Medicare and Medicaid and all these things. Forget about all that, which leads me to Social Security. Nah, can't rely on Social Security, can we? Huh?
Do you believe in the tooth fairy?
No!
Okay, then you don't believe in the Social Security Trust Fund either, I take it.
No, not at all. We got to rely on ourselves. It's called learning to swim, I think, right?
Yeah, the money out of your paycheck this month is going to my mother's Social Security check next month.
Yeah.
You know, there's no trust fund there, and for sure by the time we all get to collect, it will be, it'll be like anybody who has any money won't get it. It'll be a welfare program for poor seniors, even though you paid in all these years.
I know, it's a terrible ROI if you ask me. And we got to improve ourselves. We got to start looking at ourselves as Americans, in my opinion. Forget about the government. Forget about all these other things. You've got to be self-reliant. But unfortunately, I don't think the psyche of Americans, at least some of them, are emerging in the opposite direction. Very scary thing for us. Now, if there was one thing in the New Savage number that really stands out, Terry, you want everyone to know about, what would it be?
I just want to say don't bet against America. We can sit here talking about all these horrendous things.
Yeah.
But I think back to 1982, when the Dow was under 800, the double-digit unemployment, double-digit inflation, the prime rate at 21% in the early 80s. No one then predicted we'd have a Dow at 14,000, a tech boom that really catapulted us into great growth.
We are Americans.
Come back, something new will happen.
We are Americans after all, aren't we? At some point, we will lift our bootstraps up. The New Savage number, Terry Savage with us there at terrysavage.com. Head on over there today. Terry, thanks for your time.
Thank you.